She lives at the end of your street. She's old and small and bent, and she's been there longer than anyone can remember. In the daylight, she nods when you pass her gate. You bring her things sometimes. You're not unkind. But tonight she's not sleeping. Tonight, she peels off her skin. She is a Soucouyant. In the folklore of Trinidad and Tobago, across the wider Caribbean, the word names a creature that is, by day, a perfectly ordinary woman. Old, usually, solitary, someone the community knows, but does not know well. Someone people have decided quietly not to think about too hard. By night, she retreats to a private place, a corner of her house, a space beneath the floor, and she removes her skin, the whole of it. She removes it the way you might step out of a dress or a pair of trousers. She places the skin carefully in a mortar, a heavy stone grinding bowl, and she will need it again before dawn. Are you comfortable in your skin? I'm James. This is Mythic Tides. This time we look at the Soucouyant. As a ball of fire, she crosses the night sky. She enters homes through keyholes, through the gaps beneath doors, through any crack wide enough for light. She seeks the sleeping. She feeds on blood, on vital energy, on the warmth of human bodies. Her victims wake weakened and hollowed, and they do not always know why, which is perhaps the most frightening part. She returns before sunrise. She finds the mortar. She steps back into herself. And in the morning, she's at her gate again, nodding as you pass. Now here's something worth knowing. She does not travel alone, the Soucouyant. She's part of a family. Across the Caribbean, you can find her under different names, in different bodies, carrying slightly different habits. In Francophone islands and in Guadeloupe, she's the loup-garou, a word that carries the ghost of the French word for werewolf. The old world superstition crossed the Atlantic and got itself a tan, you might say. In Barbados, she appears as Old Hooge, a hag figure, someone whose age itself is made monstrous. The roots of the Soucouyant run deep into West and Central African traditions of the witch and the night traveller, the Adje of the Yoruba, the obayifo of the Akan. These traditions survived the brutal crossing from West Africa to the Caribbean. They survived plantation slavery. They survived because they were carried in the memory of a people who had nothing else left to carry. Some scholars have noted possible local threads as well, the indigenous peoples of the Caribbean having their own traditions of shapeshifting. The Soucouyant, like most things in the Caribbean, is a product of collision. Now the skin. I want to stay here for a moment because this is where the story becomes genuinely, profoundly disturbing. While she's gone, fire, flight, the long arc across the dark, you have a window. If you can find the skin, you rub it with salt and pepper or ash. You make it unbearable to wear. She comes back before dawn. She reaches into the mortar and she cannot get it back on. If she cannot return to her skin before the sun rises, she burns. She's unmade. It's one of the most quietly devastating endings in all folklore. This is similar to the Manananggal of the Philippines, who detaches herself from her legs and hunts at night. If she returns and the legs are contaminated, she too perishes. But the Soucouyant does not go unchallenged. Rice. Scatter a handful of rice on your doorstep before you sleep. Mustard seeds work too, or sand, because the Soucouyant, before she can enter any space, must count every grain. Every single grain. And here's the thing, she cannot help herself. This is not a preference. This is a compulsion written into her nature as surely as the fire and the flight. She cannot skip it. She cannot approximate. She must count. And if there are enough grains, dawn will find her still crouching at your door, counting. Scissors left open in the shape of the cross, mirrors, brooms laid across the threshold. Precautions, the kind of thing you do and then sleep better for having done. Now the rice counting detail is fascinating in itself because it's not unique to the Caribbean. You can find the same compulsion in Eastern European vampire lore. Scatter seeds and the creature must count them. The thought that a dangerous supernatural entity can be defeated not by strength or righteousness or holy water, but by arithmetic. There's something almost affectionate in that. So who is she really? Not what she does, but what is she? What kind of person? She's not a monster from the forest. not a creature of the deep water or wild places. She's a woman, an old woman, alone, sometimes slightly outside the social bonds that give safety in small, close-knit communities. Someone whose life is not fully visible to her neighbours. Here's a pattern you see across world folklore, and it's worth naming clearly. The witch figure, the night traveller, the skin shedder almost invariably occupies the same social position. Older, female, solitary. Maybe every culture, when the lights go out and the nights get long, invents the same old woman at the end of the street, because the dark makes neighbours into strangers, because we've always suspected that people hide more than they show. She's still out there tonight. Scatter the rice. If you've got something to say about the Soucouyant, please do leave a comment. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe. I'm James, this is Mythic Tides. I hope to see you again soon.